Hello, welcome to Cloud Channel. In this module, we will learn about Azure DataBricks Workspace and how to create a cluster and create a notebook. And also, I will show you how to create data frames using Python and how to work with data frames and how to union multiple data frames and how to write a data to a Parquet file and how do we use a filter to return the values from the data frame. And also I will show you how to do the aggregate, uh, how to run these aggregate functions using data frame. I'll show you. And I will also show you how to print the summary statistics for the tables. And before we do all that, so let's discuss about what is Azure DataBricks Workspace. Azure DataBricks Workspace is an analytics platform based on Apache Spark. Azure DataBricks Workspace is integrated with Azure to provide one-click setup, streamlined workflows, and an interactive workspace that enables collaboration between data engineers, data scientists, and machine learning engineers. Okay, so now let's start. So now we have to create a cluster to do anything. So go to new cluster and enter the cluster name. Just say cluster or 01 or any name and enter cluster mode standard and pool name none and Databricks runtime. Choose the runtime. So now just hit the click, but I already have a cluster running in this session. So here is my cluster name, cluster 01. It is running. The runtime 7.3 LTS includes Apache Spark. Okay, so now I need to create a notebook. Let me click on new notebook and let me say the name notebook 01. And the default language, we can choose any language, Python, Scala, SQL, or so I will choose Python. And also cluster, we can assign this cluster, we can attach this cluster and create this notebook. So we need to create a notebook to run any of these commands in this Python, SQL, Scala, or R language. Now I create a notebook. Now let me create a data frame. So before I create a data frame, so let me give you the definition. What is a data frame? A data frame is a table or a two-dimensional array-like structure in which each column contains values of one variable and each row contains one set of values from each column. The data stored in a data frame can be numeric, factor, or character type. What is the use of data frame? A data frame is used for storing data tables. It is the list of vectors of equal length. So now I will create a data frame. So here in this command, I'm creating, first I'm importing PySpark class row from module SQL. And after that, I'm creating a department data frame and employee data frame and creating department with employees instances from both departments and employees. So now let me create these three data frames. So now I created these three data frames. Now if we want to add a new command, so here you can see that insert a new cell, click on it. And now I'm printing a data from this department one data frame. And also I'm retrieving data from employee 2 data frame and department with employees 1. And this is just, I will talk about this data frame little later. So let's print the data from the department data frame. Now we can see that which department1, it has the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the name computer science. So if I say department2, and we will get these 789012 and the name mechanical engineer. So now if I want to get the result from DataFrame employee 3, just say employee 3. So now we get the data from this employee 3 data frame, that is Matty, last name none, and the email no reply at waterloo.edu, and the salary 140K. Now, if we want to retrieve data from this department with employees instances from both departments and employees, so here just say print department with employees 1 data frame and employees 0 dot email. So what it does, right? So it will print the data from this department with employees 1 data frame and employees 01. So it will retrieve data from this employee 1. It will retrieve the data for this employee 1, and we just mentioned email. So now let's run this. Now we should see the value, the department 1 and the employee 1 data. So employee 1 this is, and we should see no reply berkeley.edu. So if I remove this email, then it will retrieve all the data that exists in this employee 1 data frame. So now we see this complete result from this data frame. Michael, Ambas, no reply, Berkeley, and the salary. So now if we want to return data for our second employee in that data frame, let's just say 1. So now it will retrieve data from this employee 2. And if we want to return only the first name, I'll just say first name. Now we will get from these employees 1, from the employees 1 and then employee 2. So go to employee 2 data frame, and what is the last name is Meng. So now we will get the value Meng. Run this command. Okay, so I need to capitalize this. Okay, now run this. So now we can see that employees 1. Oh, okay, sorry. So I think I'm retrying the first name. So now we need to retry the last name. Just say last name and run this cell. Now we can see that name Meng. So now I will show you how to create data frames from a list of the rows. Okay, so because we can always create a new cell, but I want to use just one cell so that we can see the data what we have. Now I'm creating a data frame, departments with employees sequence, and departments with employees 1 and department with employees 2. So it will combine these two data and the key on the key based. So now let me run this command. So now we can see that department ID 345678 and the name theater and drama and the employees. So we just assign these employees values to these departments. Okay, so let's check the data frame 2. And then theater, indoor recreation. So here we can see that the department 3 and 4, theater, drama, and indoor recreation. Now I will union these two data frames. Union, I'm creating a data frame. The name is union data frame equal data frame 1 dot union data frame 2, and then just display the union data frame. Now we will see the department names from all these four department data names, all these four department names, and also all the values from these employees. So let me run this command. So here we can see the department computer science, mechanical engineering, theater and drama, indoor recreation, and we can see all the values from this employees data frame. Now, if we want to write this data frame to a Parquet file or CSV file or anything, so we can do that, and I will show you how to do that, like, write data to a Parquet file. Just say dbutils.fs.rm and just mention the path and say true. And here now we are saying union data frame. This is the data we are writing to Parquet file, and we are writing to this file. Okay, so now let me run this command. Now we just put all the data in the Parquet file. If we want to read the data from this Parquet file, I will open a new cell. Just click on it. So now I'm saying a Parquet data frame dot spark dot read Parquet, and this is the part where the file locates, and I'm just giving the file path and just display the data from the file. So this is the data we just wrote it to Parquet file. And if you want to write data to a CSV file, just replace with CSV and just change the extension to CSV. In the same way, you can read the data from the CSV file. Just say CSV here. Just say CSV and change the path wherever the file exists. Now I'll show you how to explore the employees column from that union data frame that we just created. I will close this command. Okay, so now I will show you how to explore the employees column from that union data frame. So just import explore function from this PySpark.sql function, and I'm creating a data frame, explore data frame equal union data frame dot select. This is the data frame that we just created. It has all the data. Now I'm exploring employees column from this data frame, and I'm selecting the employees column, and I'm saying alias E. So how it works in a SQL, right? So we'll say select first name, last name, email, salary from employees table. So we will just say employees as E. So in the same way here, I'm saying dot alias E, and the new data frame I'm creating, flattened data frame equal this explore data frame and select expression first name, last name, email, and salary. So here I'm saying E dot because this is I need a first name, last name, email, salary from this employee table. Okay, now say that flatten data frame dot show. Let me run this command. Now I will see this data. Michael, almost, and now we have total 8 records. Now here we see some values are null. So I will show you later how to replace these null values with the value. For now, let's return in SQL, we will use where class, if we want to return data for for particular name, if we want to return all the data where first name equal to Michael. So we can do that. We can do that using Python too. So I will show you how to do that. We can use filter to return the rows that match a predicate. Okay, so let me just open a new cell and run this filter data frame equal, and this is the data frame, flatten data frame dot filter, and the first name Zian, and sort by last name. Okay, so now I want to get the data where this first name equal to Zian. So I should receive these two values or one value, and sort by last name. So now we can see these two values from this table. So, and filter is equivalent to where clause in SQL. Okay, so now let me show you how we can also use a where class. So before I use a where class, let me get a data for two names, like, so here we just accessing data for this one user Xian. So now I want to get the data for another two employees where first name equal to Xian and first name equal to Michael, and ascending by last name. Just run this SQL. So we should see 4 rows now because we have 4 records in our original data frame. Okay, so now here we can see that 4 rows. Now I'll show you how to use the where clause that is equivalent to filter. And let me create a new cell. So here we are using filter in the same way. I'm just using where clause, where a first name equal to Xian and first name equal to Michael, and sort by last name, ascending order. So now we can see this data, same data. So what we got with filter, so we got the same data with where clause. So let me close this new cell. Now, if you see in this data frame, we see a lot of null values from the first name Matty, we see the last name null, and then for the last name Wendell, we see the null value. So now I want to replace these null values with some name. So let me just show you how to replace that. So I'm creating data frame, non-null data frame, flatten data frame dot fill NA. So I want to put any name, like, you can say anything. I will say for now, I will say some sample. So now when I run this, let me pause this. So now let me run this data frame. So now I want to return the data. I want to see the data, like, if this data frame replaced null values. Let me run this. So now we can see that sample. Now we can see that sample value for all these, like, earlier we had data that has null values. We can still see, like, the data frame we have here, the flattened data frame. So just say flattened data frame. So we have null values. Now I will run this non-null data frame. Okay, so I think I missed the name. So let me just say. So now we can see the value sample. We just replaced the null values. Now I will show you the how to use the aggregations using aggregate and count district functions. But before I run aggregations, right? So I will show you how to retrieve only rows with missing first name or last name. Okay, let me show you. So now I want to show you how I want to get the rows with missing first name and last name. So here we can see that, like, this is missing. And the Matty, we see that last name missed, and for Wendell, we see first name missed. Now I want to show you column first name is null or last name is null, and sort by email. Now we see these 4 records. Now let me move to next step. So how to do the aggregations using aggregate and count distinct functions. So now I'm importing this count distinct from this PySpark.sql.functions. I'm creating a count distinct data frame, that is select first name, last name, and group by first name, and aggregate count distinct last name alias distinct last name. So we can always replace whatever you feel like. So I will just say replaced distinct name. Okay, now display this count distinct data frame. Let's run this. So now we can see that, like, so we did group by first name. So now let's see, so how many first names here? 1, and then Michael, we have 2. We are doing from the non-null data frame. So I think let me insert 1 here. Let me show you the data display non-null data frame. So this is the data we were working on it. So now we want to do this, like, group by first name, and let's see. So Xian, we see 1, and then replaced a distinct name, and Michael 2. So a distinct last name, Michael has 2, but Xian, we have 2 records, but only distinct name is 1. So that's why we have 1. So now I will show you how to compare the data frame and SQL query physical plan. So, and normally, like, in traditional databases, if we want to run the explain plan to see the performance, we will just use explain or F6 or something to get the explain plan. But here in the Python, we can just run this count distinct data frame dot explain. We can use the same thing. So in traditional databases, and I think pretty much all databases are same. So we use explain or some other key to retrieve the explain plan. So here we will just use count distinct data frame dot explain, and we can see this explain plan. Now, if we want to sum up all the salaries, and we can do that using aggregate functions. So let me delete these cells, and I will show you how to sum up the salaries. I will insert a new cell, and this is, yeah, so I'm creating a data frame salary sum data frame equal to non-null data frame aggregate the salary sum. So now we are doing the sum up. So let me run this. So now we can see this 1,020,000. So this is the summary. We just did sum up all the salaries. And if we want to print the summary statistics for the salaries, we can do that. So let me just run this command describe. So non-null data frame dot describe salary dot show. So now it should return that minimum maximum standard deviance count. So the count, we have total 8 records in the data frame. So that is what it returned, and the mean value is 127,500, and standard deviation, this is the standard deviation, and the minimum salary 80,000. Let's go and check that. So the minimum salary from this data frame is 8,000, and the maximum is 160K, so that we can see that 160K. And also we can use pandas and matplotlib integration in DataBricks. We can just say import pandas and import matplotlib.pyplot as plot. So I'll show you how to do that, like in. So just say import pandas as pd and import matplotlib.pyplot as plot. So we can use these pandas and matplotlib. And the last one, I'll show you how to remove the Parquet file. So earlier we just sent the result to Parquet file. Now, if we want to delete that Parquet file, we will just say that path and use the same command. So just run this command and it will delete the Parquet file. And so far in this module, we discussed about what is DataBricks and what is data frame and how to create a cluster and create a notebook and how to create these data frames using Python. And we discussed about how to union two data frames and how to write a data frame to a Parquet file and how to read from a Parquet file. Even if it is a CSV file or anything, we will just change that command, and how to explore the data from the employees and departments, and how to use filter to return the rows that match a predicate. And also we discussed that where clause is equivalent to filter, so we can use a filter or where they both are same. And I show you how to replace the null values with some value using data frame NA function. And I showed you how to retrieve the rows with missing, like, some fields using OR function. And we discussed about how to use aggregations using aggregate function and count distinct functions. And we also discussed how to retrieve the SQL query execution plan and how to do this sum up and how to print the summary statistics for the data frame, and how to use these pandas and matplotlib, and how to remove these, how to delete the Parquet or CSV file. So if you have any questions on this module, please post in the comments. If you like this video, please subscribe and share the channel. Thank you.